Just give me liberty, or give me death.
But I'm Kevin O'Neill. I'm with turn2liberty.com. Oh, Susie's here. Fabulous Susie. Look at that. She's got the props. Props to Susie. Turn2liberty.com, spending some time, sweat, and effort here covering what these other great people have done. Check out these websites. The 911tap.org is really going to be a group that tries to organize all the other disparate organizations. A&E 9/11 Truth is architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. That is the powerhouse research group that has really kept the light on for reinvestigating the disaster of September 11, 2001. And LC for 911, we're going to give it up for lawyers, the lawyer committee for 9/11 Truth. I think the last word's inquiry, if I remember correctly. These are all shortened websites. They have, 30-character websites like a lot of us do, but check them out. We got the lovely Susie doing her thing for Liberty. Say hi, everybody, Susie. Again, we got the Tampa Police Department right down the street here. Various folks hanging out at the benches. And the main organizer are these folks. Let me see if I can get their names straight as I'm walking around. I think this is the organization that's 911tap.org, which stands for Truth Action Protect. Truth Action Protect. And just to give you the quick tour on some of these things, one of the big deals we're doing is the Bobby McAvane Act. This is Bobby himself. This is his parents. And there's effort to get legislation passed through Congress to reinvestigate it. So if the bill gets put onto the schedule, I believe it's called, in Washington, D.C., then committees can be organized to which they can fund an investigation. That's one option. One of these signs is seat the grand jury, seat the grand jury. This is our good friend holding. Look at the work this guy's doing. He's got 4 signs up. He's amazing. We are aware of the grand jury option. So we have that LC for 911.org, which is the lawyer committee trying to seat a grand jury. Back in April, they filed. And the answer needs to be produced today by the United States Attorney up in Manhattan, Southern District. And I'm trying to remember the guy's name. It's like Hayden or something like that, the actual person's name. Of course, we got the Trump for Truth thing. That gentleman, Donald J. Trump, our president, did say he would reinvestigate 9/11/2001 to find the truth. So let's see if Trump's for truth or not. So I love your sign, by the way.
Thank you.
Me it is, huh? What led you to come out here today? What's your connection with this disaster from December 11, 2001?
Well, actually, I started trying to wake up people to 9/11 Truth in 2005. I was with a group of people that went to Washington for the Truth Convergence. And I never imagined, since 2005, it's been 13 years, I never imagined that so few people would have realized. And I attribute it mostly, I think, to people not having any sort of habit of doing their own investigation. They think that the press is doing the investigation, but they don't realize the press is part of the problem and that they've been bought. So here we are, 13 years later, and I'm happy to say that people are accepting my offers of literature, some people, but it takes a curious mind, and with all the events that have transpired since 9/11/2001, if you take a moment and look at it, you'll realize that much has been predicated on that one event, and that one event was never investigated as a crime. It was only investigated as a terror attack, which meant that it never got a proper investigation. So one wonderful thing that's happening right now is that the lawyers for 9/11 Truth have submitted paperwork in New York to convene a grand jury, an impartial grand jury, and they need discovery and they need the true facts. And we need to keep working on this problem because the decline in our living standards, the decline in our society, the terrible damage that we're causing in the Middle East is all predicated on this one event.
What's that for you to pay attention to that wake people up and not giving up?
I'm not giving it up ever.
Now, I know a lot of folks, like we have the Bobby McIlvain Act, the gentleman who got killed on September 11, 2001. His father, I guess, is an activist trying to push the legislation through. A lot of people have personal connections to that tragic day. Are you also somebody directly affected from that?
No, well, we're all directly affected, but I don't have any relative or anyone like that that was lost. This has spurred me like nothing else has to try to be a good person, to be a good citizen, to try to fulfill my obligation. It's very difficult to do in today's environment. It's a very polarized environment. It's very unfortunate that the alt media has decided to go along with the mainstream media on this one, and the only people doing any serious investigation are studiously ignored. And I want to give a shout out to Richard Gage and architects and engineers for all the work they've done, persistent, scientific, just going through it. And anyone who will take the time, just take the time. When I got a suspicion, it took me 1 hour. I got a suspicion in 2004. I just couldn't understand when the 9/11 report came out how they absolved everybody and said it was like a failure of imagination. I thought, no. I sat down on the internet and within 1 hour I had my answer and I went into shock. And it took me a long time to recover from that shock, but of course we've had lots of shocks since then. The false flags never end.
Right, we got the shirt here for those on Radio Lane. 9/11 was a false flag, yes it was.
That's right, and since 9/11 they've been doing it consistently, like right now they're about to do another false flag gas attack in Syria, so they have the excuse to attack Assad. They've done it twice. The truth has been able to be revealed by more honest reporters than our own. But right now, they're just cooking another one up, and it remains to be seen whether Trump and his close-knit group of generals that surround him.
Trump for truth.
Trump knows the truth. Maybe he's forgotten
You know
it,
the truth too.
or maybe he is in a circumstance where he does not feel that he's completely free.
No,
Yeah,
he's not
we'll
free.
see. We'll see.
Like, you want to point people to, because people on the radio might not be able to know where to go.
Well, some people that are very interested, like I said, is Richard Gage and architects and engineers. So that would be ae911truth.org. And right now, very timely, because it's happening right now at 9/11, is that the lawyers for 9/11 Truth have decided to submit this paperwork in New York. So that would be lc for911.org for more information. Thank you.
The good news is, all on activities can be turned easily. So that's good. Let's check this straight. Let's do it. Hey guys, so you might be catching some of these conversations. I apologize, but we did a big push first hour to support our friend Christopher Steiner, who is doing a radio show and is going to use some of our interviews for his radio show, which is happening at 8 p.m. So I'm going to pull that piece of paper out of my pocket. I might not be able to. So what we got going on? Oh, no problem. Oh, you're good. Thanks. That's what we got going on today. Then reopen up the investigation to 9/11/2001. Thank you much. Hey, you want to put it in your basket for you? We are trying to open up an investigation of the 9/11/2001. We have a lawyer friend from New York who filed a grand jury petition to investigate. Was here to save the guy. He does.
Just give me liberty, or give me